Hi, this is Ashfaq Khan, trainer and consultant for printing and packaging. So in this video, I am going to share with you how to conduct the fingerprint trials in printing in flexographic press rooms. In my previous video, I already explained how to make the lens files before conducting the fingerprint trials and how to make the profile based on the fingerprint trial data. So in this video, I am going to only explain you, I am going to only share with you about the fingerprint trial data. How can we conduct this one? So as you know, the accuracy and consistency of color and print is vital to retain the strong global brand. So that is why fingerprint is very important to conduct in each flexographic press rooms. Why fingerprint is important to conduct the but before moving to further discussion, I have a couple of questions. Do you have a stable printing process? Do you have a stable printing process? Do you have a reliable print standards? Do you have predictable and verified color data? If your answer is no, then you must conduct a fingerprint trial in your flexographic press room minimum twice a year to calibrate, to standardize your press room. What will be the benefit of press room? If you will conduct a good fingerprint trial in your press room, then this will improve your press room efficiencies, will improve your this will help to achieve high print qualities and improve existing customer retention and will help you to gain some new customers, improve your color densities, as well as reduce your setup time, your machine downtime, minimize your ink and substrate waste, reduce your inadequate ink densities, reduce your print related defects. And if you will be able to conduct successfully your fingerprint trials, then no need to change your inks, no need to change your analogs, no analogs change, no inks change, no ink adjustment on press, and no material waste. So this video I am going to divide into 6 parts. There are 6 parameters, 6 variables, 6 major components in each flexographic process. So I am going to share with you each one. Like first of all, we are talking analogs. Analogs, what are the variables that we should standardize, we should monitor in the analogs, related to analogs. Analogs manufacturer, like what types of analogs who is the manufacturer of your analogs? Like Harper's, like maybe Pemarco, maybe Zeker. Then ID numbers of analogs, like what is the ID number of analogs? Then analogs base materials. Each analogs base material is mostly based on the mild steel, mostly based on the aluminium, mostly based on the stainless steel. But the ratio of each analogs is mild steels, aluminium is different. So this ratio of mild steel or aluminium will impact on the hardness of the analogs. So you must know your base material of analogs. Then coating hardness. What is the plasma hardness of your analogs? Like what is your plasma analogs? What is chromium oxide hardness of your analogs? Roughness, analogs circumference. Then what type of lines LPI analogs are you using? Maybe you are using 200, maybe you are using 600, maybe you are using 800s. Then analogs cell shape. What is the cell shape of analogs? Like hexagonal, like diamonds, like trihenicals, like square, like annular. Means you must know and you must need to standardize your analogs during your process. Then cell depth of analogs. What is the cell depth? Because if one time you are using cell depth of 80 micron, then next time you are using the 100. So this will not bring you a correct color. So then analogs cell angle, screen angles, very important, because screen angles will help you to transfer the inks. Like for example, if you are, what types of angle are you using? You are using 60 angles, you are using 45 angle screen, you are using the 30 angle screen. So these are the variables related to the analogs that we must standardize. We must know, we must standardize during the fingerprint driver in the flexographic pressroom. The second component is a flexographic plates. Similarly, we are considering, okay, do you know 35% defects in flexographic printing is related to plates, but mostly time we are putting these defects to the inks room. Sometimes we are putting to analogs, sometimes we are putting these defects to the paper supplier. So in flexo plate, first of all, you need to standardize the manufacturer. Who is your manufacturer of your plates? Maybe you are buying the plate from DuPont, maybe you are buying the plate from McDermott, maybe you are buying the plate from the Flint. Then relief depth. What type of, how much relief depth you are using for your plates? Plate tackiness. Is your plate tackiness? Is your plate has tackiness or no? Because tackiness is also impact on your printing quality. Plate hardness. Plate thickness. What is plate thickness? Plate LPI, very important, because your plate LPI must be correlated to your analogs LPI. If your plate LPI will not be correlated to analogs LPI, this will be a problem in your printing. There will be a different defects will appear in your print. Then dot shape. What are the dot shape you are using in your printing plates? Like rounded, some are using rounded, some are using the flat dots. So if in one plate you are using rounded, in another you are using a flat dot, and you are superimposing your colors, definitely you will not get the perfect and correct colors. Then your back exposure, because your relief depth is based on your back exposure. What type of energy you are giving to your back exposure? Like 150 millijoules for how much time? Your main exposure will be 4,000 millijoule for how much time? Then you must standardize your washing time, your drying time, and tape thickness. I had an experience in one organizations. So they were using different substrate, like 200 GSM paper, they were using 70 gram craft papers, they were using, but they were using the same papers, and they were getting the defects during printing. The main problem was they were using the same tape for all materials, like either paper or craft paper. So very important to standardize tape thickness. Tape thickness varies from substrate to substrate. If you are using the LDP, you must use the different thickness of tape. If you are using the paper, you must use the different thickness of the tape. Then tape hardness, very important. So there are three types of the tape: hard, soft, and medium. Then sleeve hardness also play a very important role, because if your sleeve hardness is not perfect, you will get many problems in your printing process. So during your fingerprint trials, you must standardize all these flexographic flexoplate variables. Now next we are talking about Dr. Blade. We are saying, okay, Dr. Blade, this is Dr. Blade. But Dr. Blade is also based on many variables, like manufacturer. What types of Dr. Blade are you using? Each manufacturer is a different, producing a different Dr. Blade than other manufacturer. Like you are using Esterlane, you are using the Flexo concept. Then blade tip thickness. What is blade tip thickness? Blade types. Then blade contact angle, very important. I went to one flexible plant. I asked the printer, I asked the printing supervisor, what is the angle for that you are using for Dr. Blade? He didn't reply to me. So this is very important, angle very important. If you don't have a proper angle, you are not fixing your Dr. Blade at proper angle, then the Dr. Blade will damage your analogs. Dr. Blade will not wipe the perfectings. So you must understand what is correct analog. So you need to standardize. Then blade width, blade edge width. Edge thickness, what is edge thickness? Then tensile strength, very huge, adding the impact on your doctor blade. Then blade pressures. If you have more pressure, then you will tear your analogs, you will affect on your printing, you will create lines in your printings. Then blade hardness. So these are the variables, like for example, blade thickness, blade hardness, blade angle, blade pressures, edge strength. These are all the variables that are related to doctor blades. So you must consider, you must standardize all these variables during your printing process. Then the fourth variable is the inks variable. As you know, the ink supplier are always looking for cost-effective technologies. They are looking for pigments. They are changing the pigments without sharing with the customer. They are changing the resin. They are changing the additives. They are changing the solvent. So make sure the inks qualities are good. Every batch has a good quality in your printing room, your press room. If you are getting the variations, fluctuation in your each batch, definitely you will face a problem. So what parameters, what variables we should consider, we must standardize during the fingerprint trials are like colors, CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, black, white, or maybe spot colors. Then formula numbers, what is the formula numbers? Batch numbers, solid contents, very important. What type of solid, how much solid contents your supplier is providing? Like white, mumkin 45%, mumkin 55%, 50%. Every color has a different solid content. So you must know what is the solid content in your room. Because if one time your supplier is providing solid content with 20%, another time he is providing a 50% solid contents, then how you will control this one? Then densities, LAB values, your densities, you must fix, you must standardize the densities of each color, cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and white, etc. Then dot gain, 0% dot gain. How much dot you are getting at 0%? How much dot you are getting at 30%? Maybe at 30% you are getting 40% dot gain, maybe 42% dot gain. How much dot you are getting dot gain you are getting at 70%? Then strength reduction. Is your color strength is 100%? Is your supplier is providing you 100%? If your supplier is not producing 100%, it means you will get color variation batch to batch. And this color variation will impact your machine downtime. This color variation will impact on your material waste in your online approvals. So then after strength reduction, you need to standardize what is the pure viscosity, print viscosity. Like normally we are using a 16 to 22 second viscosity. Then light fastness, very important. As you know, in Middle East, this is a big problem. If you are keeping the your printed roll outside, so color is fading. So make sure your color has, your printing has good light fastness. BWS scale, your color must be 6, more than 6. If your color is below the 6, it will fade after falling on the sunlight. Very important. If check your light fastness of your colors. Then viscosity, base concentration. How much base is existing in your printing is? You can ask your ink suppliers. Reduction factor, very important. If your inks must have a more reduction factor. If you have more reduction factor, definitely you will have more mileage. You will have a more good qualities. You will have a more cost-effective inks. So if your supplier is supplying the inks with different reduction factor, definitely you will not be able to maintain your printing process. Then viscosity, what type of viscosity cup are you using? You are using Zone Cup 1, you are using Zone 2. I saw one printing press. They have a Zone Cup 1, they have a Zone Cup 2, they have a Zone Cup 3, they have a Zone Cup 4. When they are not finding the Zone Cup 1, they are using Zone Cup 3. When they are have a no Zone Cup 3 in their own the press, they are using Zone Cup 4. No, all viscosity cups are different, giving the different results. So then date of manufacturing of inks. Make sure you are using the inks no more old than 6 months. So these are the variables that you must standardize in your ink rooms, like manufacturer, batch numbers, strength reductions, 0% dot, 30% dot gain, 70% dot gain, reduction factors, viscosity and reduction factors, right? Now the fifth point is we are using the material papers and plastic films in flexographic printing. So in papers, who is manufacturer of your papers? Like Calabin, like Stora Enso, like Korsnas. I had experience. I was using the same formula for Korsnas, but when I was running this formula on the Calabin board, clay coated, the ink was not drying. So you also need to standardize your board, paper board. Other parameters are related to boards, like thickness of paper boards, PPS, roughness of paper board. This also will impact on your printing quality. If you have more roughness, you will get different result. If you have lower roughness, you will get different result. Then paper gloss. If paper is glossy, more different colors. Whiteness. Then paper brightness also has an impact on the, you need to paper brightness. Then grammage, paper grammage. Then opacity, very important variables that you need to standardize during your printing fingerprint trials. Porosity, how much porosity you have in your papers, like 20%, 50%. You need to check the quality of paper. If you are checking the quality of paper, if one batch is 30% coming with 30% porosity and another batch is coming with the 50% porosity, this is disaster for your printing process. You will not be able to standardize your printing process. Then paper stiffness. So what are the, just I am summarizing this one, what are the variables you need to standardize during fingerprints for paper board, like thickness, PPS roughness, gloss, whiteness, paper brightness, grammage, paper opacity, then porosity and paper stiffness. Now we are talking another substrate that we are using for flexographic printing, like LTP. Then who is the manufacturer of LTP? Like, what is the thickness of LTP? What is the gloss of LTP? Like opacity, surface treatment, like 30, like 35, like 37, like 38, like 42. Then tensile strength, because when LDP, each batch of LDP has a different strength, tensile strength, this impact on your registration. Then COF, coefficient of frictions, and RH values, grammage and density. All these are the variables that affect your packaging, your printing process. So when you are going to conduct a fingerprint trial, must standardize these variables. The last section is the machine parameter. We discussed about the analogs, we discussed about the flexoplate, we discussed the variables related to the doctor blade, we discussed the related to inks, we discussed about the substrate like LDP, like paper and board. Now we need to standardize the machine parameters, very important, because if you are standardizing all the parameters, paper board, analogs, flexoplate, doctor blade, inks, your inks variables, and if you are not standardizing your machine parameter, machine variable, you will not be able to get sustainable printing quality. So what are the machine variables? Like machine speed. You need to fix the machine speed, like okay, we will do this 150 meter per minute, 600 meters per minute. Then ambient temperatures, very important. This fluctuation in ambient temperature will affect your printing quality. Then unit temperature. What is the temperature of your each unit? If you are using 6 unit printing press, what is the temperature of each unit during fingerprint? So you need to standardize. Impression roller hardness, very important. Hardness is very important. Mostly printers are ignoring this hardness of impression roller, but this hardness of impression roller also impact on your printing quality. Illumination use, what type of illumination you are using at press? You are using D50, you are using D65. Then relative humidity, what is your press room humidity? Rewind tension play very important role in registration, in roll winding. So what is your rewind tension, unwind tension, unprinted film tension? In flow rate, very important. If you have more in flow rate, you will have a different problem like ink splashing, etc. Then chamber opacity. What is the chamber capacity? What is chamber capacity? Chamber is getting lower inks, less inks, or chamber is getting more inks. Burner temperature. What is your burner temperature? Some operators are running in a higher burner temperature. Some are adjusting lower burner temperature. So you need to standardize. Outfeed tension, very important parameter for printing machines. Chiller temperatures, air pressure. How many bar you are using for air pressures? Nip pressures. Okay, heater temperature depth, heater temperature of tunnels. And if you are particularly if you are using the if you are using the LTP film, you must note, you must standardize the anti-static at your printing press. As you know, this is a universal truth. This is a universal truth. Poor quality in, poor quality out. If you will take care for your business will take care for you. So if you have any questions, you can contact to me on my LinkedIn profile, on my WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Skype, or you can drop an email to me for more details. Hopefully in next video I will come with another topic. Thank you very much.